name is Sergeant Neil Case. I am the Underwater Recovery Team Division Diving Officer. Before we get started here, I want to introduce you to the rest of my crew. Coming up the stairs first is my training coordinator out of Albany, Trooper Josh Cross. Alright, next up those stairs is the Troop D Assistant Senior Diver, Trooper Jared Hogan. And lastly up the stairs, limping along on his birthday, the Troop D Senior Diver, Trooper Greg Eberl. Alright, and before I introduce the host of your show, I'm going to forewarn you, he's going to bring lots of energy. He's going to want the same in return from you. Good? Alright, so put your hands together for the host of your show, the Troop C Senior Diver, Trooper Seth Little.
Alright?
Yeah!
How are we doing today?
Great!
Alright, well, while these guys are getting ready to get into the water, I'm going to give you a brief little history lesson of the New York State Police Dive Team. In 1932, we logged our first dive as a team. Now back then, we didn't have scuba. What we had is we had hard helmets, we had canvas suits, we had lead belts, lead shoes. All together, the equipment weighed well over 100 pounds. Okay? What troopers did then, what they continue to do. We had some retired Navy divers. They volunteered to go into the water, find the evidence. They found what they were looking for. Good to go. Now, that's when our team started. So in 1943, there was a smart fellow by the name of Jacques Cousteau. Some of you might have heard of him. Jacques Cousteau, he invented what is known as the aqualung. The aqualung is commonly referred to as scuba. Scuba stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. It's an acronym. So, at the speed of Albany, the New York State Police decided to adopt this new technology as its own in 1957. Didn't take too long. So, in 1958, we wanted to learn from the best. We sent some of our representatives down to learn from the best, which is the New Jersey Navy Dive School. They went down there, they went through the school, they took their lessons, they brought them back. We formed our own novice dive school. Okay? And it's anything but novice. Being a trooper is competitive enough. But after you become a trooper, you need to be on the road for 2 years. After 2 years, you have the opportunity to then go out for our team. Alright? Chances are you won't make it. Because we had 45 this last class to start the process, only 15 actually graduated. So to get where these guys are takes a lot of courage, hard work, determination. Let's give them a hand. All right, Sarge. You ready to get in the water?
Yeah, I think they're about ready. Before we get started, see if the kids want to come up close next to the tank.
Good idea. Listen, it's hot outside. If you want to come up and sit in the shadow of the tank there, by all means. Grab some shade. Adults too. You're welcome to come up. You get to see the scuba divers nice up and close. Go under the ropes, go over the ropes. Just don't trip on the ropes, or if you do, don't tell your parents. Adults too. That's right. And listen, you might get a little wet, so don't get upset if you do.
Alright, while the kids are getting in place there.
Yes.
It is hot out here.
Yes.
Looks like our divers are ready to go. But first, they're going to need a countdown before they get in the water.
They will need a countdown, all right? In order to get on the team, I told you, it takes a lot. So these divers get a little bit of a big head. Prima donnas. They need stuff like countdowns. Can I get a countdown from you? Yeah. Can I get a countdown from you? Yeah. There we go. So, we need that energy. So when I say go, start from 3 and go down. Go. 3,
2, 1.
There they go. All right. So, they go into the water. Now, the first thing that you will notice is they do not sink to the bottom like a rock. They do not rocket up the top like a balloon. They are what is called neutral buoyancy. This allows them just to sort of float through the tank neutrally. It allows them to use their fins, which are on their feet, in a proper way. It pushes them through. Those fins are attached to their booties, which is part of their wetsuit. The wetsuit keeps them semi-comfortable in cooler temperature. Now, you will notice on the back of their wetsuits, there is a BCD device. That is a buoyancy control device. This device allows air in from the tank. There's bladders on each side. You push a button, it'll fill those bladders up. That makes you positively buoyant. That will bring you back up from the depths. There's also a dump valve. There's strings where you can hold a hose up high, and you will see bubbles come out of those. Once that happens, they will become negatively buoyant. They will go down. But right now, like I said, they are neutral. That tank holds 3,000 pounds of compressed air. There's a lot of pressure behind it. You just don't put your mouth over the tank and start breathing, okay? It'll hurt. We have a regulator. It's the first stage. It takes the 3,000 pounds of air and it reduces it down. It regulates it to 145 psi. That air then goes around the main line to the second stage regulator, which provides air on demand. When the diver breathes in, he receives air, and he just breathes out, just like he is on top on the surface. The mask. The mask protects our eyes from the water, right? It gives a little space. And because it gives a little space, it also magnifies things. So when you are underwater and you are diving, you are seeing things 33% larger and 25% closer. If you were paying attention when they were up on top of the tank there, they're about 33% smaller than Trooper Eagle up there. All right, we'll call them medium-sized troopers. All right, but when they're looking at each other underwater, they look as big. They look like normal-sized troopers. Oh yeah. Listen, divers are notoriously territorial, okay? If they invade each other's places in the water, they get very upset. Things can happen to our equipment. Let's see here as we observe the divers. Oh, they're getting mad at each other. What's going on? A mask came off. Oh no! All right. Well, listen. The number one thing as a diver that you realize is you cannot panic. All right. Panic is what will hurt a diver. A mask falls off. So what? Don't cry about it. Just put it back on. All right. What do you do with the water? Well, that water hides your tears. No, I'm just joking. What that water does is if you just create a little crack between the bottom seal of the mask and your upper lip, you can blow air out of your nose. That air will go up into the mask. It'll push the water down and out. You just reseal the mask and go about your business. All right? Now, other things that can happen. We dive to depths of 132 feet before we graduate from our novice dive school, which means it's anything but novice. And you might ask me what 132 feet is. Hey, it's great. I'm glad you asked. So, if you look at the top of this tower right here, the short guys with the painted on abs and stuff, they like to jump down. This tower here is 60 feet tall. Okay, so add another tower to that, and then 6 or 12 feet. There we go, 12 feet. That'll be 132. That's how deep we go. And when you go down that deep, the pressure around you is greater. It can affect your equipment. And so we're going to have Trooper Hogan here show his regulator. It's out of service, it's not working. So his buddy comes over with his regulator, puts his main regulator right in his mouth, the safety second he grabs, and they will ascend the full 132 feet at a safe pace. This has happened to us. But the number one rule as a diver is you don't what? Panic. That's right, you don't panic. So they get up to the top. They get up there, they decide, okay, can we fix the equipment? We'll continue on with our diving. If we can't, we will abort the dive. Now, the water that we dive in, it does not look like this water here, okay? This is nice and clean. The water that we dive in, it looks like this. Who wants to go swimming in that pool, right? So, when we go into this water, a lot of times it's rivers or ponds, but in rivers you have current. All right, when you are in current and you have no visibility, there might happen to be trees or rebar, construction, shopping carts, for whatever reason, people like to throw them over bridges. But our equipment has D-rings on it, the BC does. It can get caught on stuff, and it has got caught on stuff. But the number one thing is we do not panic. What we would do is we would take our equipment off if it's stuck. As long as you have air, you are okay. So they're taking their equipment off, they're setting it down. If they can unstick it, they will. But if they can't, then they will take a breath, they will leave their equipment. And as they go up, and even from this depth right here, it is very important, they blow bubbles out of their mouth. You'll see little air bubbles coming out of their mouth. The reason they do that is because even in this depth right here, the pressure at the bottom of the tank is greater than the pressure at the top. they're breathing compressed air. All right? So if they ascend without breathing air out, that compressed air will expand and it will cause lung injury. Okay? So these guys are on top right here. We're gonna have a little race. All right? We have Trooper Hogan. He's the one with the blue racing stripes here on my right. And then we got Josh Cross over here. He is the one on the left. So I need to hear cheers for who we think is going to win, all right? So let's hear it for Trooper Jared Hogan. Yeah, okay, you're in trouble. All right, Trooper Josh Cross. All right.
I thought this was a seal show for me.
It was. All right. So, when I say go, we're going to give them a countdown and see which one of these experienced divers wins the contest. So, go! 3, 2, 1, go! Wow, Hogan's moving quick there. Oh, Jared Hogan! Look at that. Josh was trying to bump him, you know? That's the first time Jared won today, so let's give Jared Hogan a hand. All right, since Jared won, we're going to have him demonstrate this next thing that we're going to do. Another reason that we might take our pack off is to get small. We do a lot of penetration dives. That means that we're going into places that we might not be able to fit with a full pack, such as a car window or a boat window or the opening of a cave. So what do? We take our pack off, we put it in front of us. After we put it in front of us, we will follow it in order to make ourselves smaller. This is what the divers did in order to effect the rescue of those Thai soccer team players over in Thai. They had to take their gear off and fit through those places. Jared already did. Let's give him a hand. You're so quick, Jared.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
Because Josh lost that last race there.
Yeah.
We should make him go through that tunnel, this time with gear on and the scooter.
And the scooter. Good idea. So the scooter is a DPV. It is a diver propulsion vehicle. And what that is when I grew up, I was watching Johnny Quest, okay? I don't know if you ever saw him under the water. They had these cool little scooters. It's best. This is what this reminds me of. It saves energy, which saves air. Gives the diver more time to dive. Let's see what he does here. And he's looking and oh!
No, stop.
Fail.
You should just stick the water.
Yeah, hang your head. You have an idea. Yeah, okay, all right, let's see. He is the training coordinator. He's fairly smart. Let's see what happens here. Oh, man, all right. Creativity. We'll give him props.
He is the training coordinator.
Yes, he is. All right, so I told you before that we do not normally get the opportunity to go in water like that. It's like this. Our team name, URT, stands for Underwater Recovery Team. Our motto is, if it's in there, we'll find it. All right? Our mascot, our symbol is the octopus. If you've ever seen an octopus move over the floor of the ocean, it hovers and it touches everything. So we don't rely on our sense of sight. We rely on our sense of touch in order to find things. And we do that with line searches. We have two which we're going to show you. This is the jack stay that's being set up in here. There is a line with two heavy weights on either side. You will separate those weights, which will create tension. A straight line. The diver then will follow that line, having one hand on the line, hovering above, and touching everything, just like the octopus does. So, Jared.
Before he gets started with that jack stay search, let's throw some evidence in there along with that training mask.
All right, so we got the Big E. He's going to drop the training mask, which is a mask which you take off. We use this mask during the novice dive school. It simulates low or no visibility. In order to graduate the school, they have to follow a search pattern with this mask on in an Olympic-sized pool with all sorts of obstacles, and they need to find all the evidence that we have put in there, okay? So, we're going to have Jared demonstrate. We got evidence down there. We had Greg throw his old service revolver in there. See what goes on. Jared's going down. He's got his hand on the line. He's hovering above, and he is touching everything. He then moves the weight over just a little bit, and he comes back the other way. As he comes back the other way, he finds the piece of evidence, and there it is. Let's give him a hand. Okay. So, our next line search is called the pendulum. I'm going to have to have a volunteer from up here somewhere. All right, I saw your hand up there first. What is that, a teal shirt? Butterflies, come on. I know my colors. Teal. All right. What's your name? Aubrey? Okay, Aubrey, what adult do you belong to? Okay, if one of them could come over here, we would appreciate that. All right.
Aren't you so glad you volunteered?
Great. Great. All right, so Aubrey, come on over here. Dan, what's your name? John. All right. He's right there. Hold on to this line. So we gotta go ahead and step back, just a couple steps there. That's good right there. All right. This is a pendulum search. This would simulate what we would do if we arrived on a scene where there might be a lost diver or something of that nature, where speed is the essence, okay? I'm a diver. She's my line tender, okay? So, Aubrey's watching me. I'm diving, I'm swimming. As soon as I get to a place where I can't move anymore, like this rope, she's gonna tug twice. So she tugs that rope twice. 1, 2, all right, I felt that. All right, I tugged twice back. So that she knows that I know what she knows, you know what I mean? All right, so, I turn around. I'm diving back the other way. She sees I'm coming up to a place where I can no longer move. She tugs twice again. All right, 1, 2, all right. So, I tug twice back, she releases the line, and then I swim back this way. This is the pendulum, and I find John, and Aubrey, help rescue John. Let's give Aubrey a hand. Good job, Aubrey. Excellent line tech. All right.
At the Great New York State Fair.
All right, Aubrey, thanks for your help here. I have a little surprise for you. Right here. All right, thank you.
Okay, so I told you our motto is, if it's in there, we're gonna find it, right? So we have found this four-wheeler after a long search. Now, how are we gonna get this four-wheeler out of there? Well, I told you in the beginning, we used to use hard helmets, surface supply air. We do now, again, use surface supply air, sometimes hard helmets, sometimes full face masks. But our surface supply air system allows us to do several things. It allows us to have constant contact with the diver. You can hear him breathing. It allows us to supply constant source of air. It's never ending. It's up to us to change the bottles or the compressor. And also it allows us to send out another auxiliary line of air for what you will see the reason for later. So I'm going to have the Sarge demonstrate right now.
Copy that, diver, com check. Copy that. Enter the water when you're ready.
Alright, so here he goes. Alright, so he is in the water. He gets to the bottom. It's his birthday. Let's give him a hand. Good job. Yes. Yes, that is you. That's your job today, my friend. He goes over there like the Superman that he is. He does this little superhero landing. And he pulls out a lift bag. Look, in his younger year, he might have been able to lift this by himself, but he's only paid attention to his arms. His legs have sort of gotten, a little thick. Chicken legs, you know. So, now he's going to use a lift bag. He attaches this lift bag to the four-wheeler with lines. And then he's going to ask for air from topside.
Any bubbles.
So you'll see that line that he's holding, bubbles, air starts coming out of there. He starts filling up the bag, and then the four-wheeler will start to rise. As soon as that happens, he gets out of the way. Because something bad might happen, it might fall back down. Let's give him a hand, look at that hang time. I can't pick on those chicken legs anymore. He'll be in there all day.
He's still got it.
He's still got it. Alright, Sarge here is going to say a couple words before we close.
So yeah, I just want to take a moment to recognize these guys for what they do. Yes, we have a fun time here at the fair, but the reality is every single time that these guys go underwater, whether it's in training, to recover a drowning victim, or possible evidence, they're putting their lives on the line. So if you could please all join me in thanking them for what they do. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much for that wonderful audience today. A couple things before I let you go. All right, Sarge, you gotta show the hair. You gotta show the hair. Look at that beautiful head of hair. All right, you gotta be born with something like that, okay? But if you want a t-shirt like this, it can be bought. This t-shirt is over at the NYST PBA tent over there, along with other goodies. And there's also other stuff over at the Trooper Foundation building or on the kitty corner right over there. We would suggest go to both, peruse both. All right, they both support us. We would appreciate your support to them. And then the other thing is we have the best poser in the New York State Police in that tank. So if you want your picture taken with the diver, adult, kids, doesn't matter, whatever, he will be there until he is done. So, K9 is going to be up in just a little bit. Everybody loves the dogs. Other than that, have a great day at the New York State Fair. Thank you very much.